for it. Sugar don't got reason, but she keeps coming back. Rules keep on warning that when she leaves, the words she's spoken rain like thunder. I was ringing like the bell she married under. Ropes tied around the neck of a beast she just can't control. Pleading for the bottle, but the bottle was what broke her soul. Ropes tied around the neck of a beast she just can't control. Pleading for the bottle, but the bottle was what broke her soul. I know you dug grace for your demon. I am not one, baby, I ain't leaving. Trace my places, face me like a feeling. I am not one, baby, I ain't. Don't cover me up. Papa keeps on praying that they find a cure for his baby girl is on edge. Says she don't got no fears. Lost all her gold when she was mining for a man to save her. Lost all her wits when educating folks on bad behavior. Ropes tied around the neck of a beast she just can't control. Pleading for the bottle, but the bottle was what broke her soul. I know you dug grace for your demon. I am not one, baby, I ain't leaving. Trace my paces, face me like a feeling. I am not one, baby, I ain't. Don't cover me up. Walking the same lines, crossing my fingers. I pray to lose my mind. Sugar don't got reason, but she keeps on falling for it. Sugar don't got reason, but she keeps coming back.
This was a dreadful 9-ball break. It's really, really bad. But somehow I managed to get to center table. And I accidentally drew the cue ball back to the top rail and it bounced back up to center table. And I was also lucky to actually make a ball. I did not make the wing ball on that break. The ugliest ball on the table, the orange 5-ball. Orange. Who invented that color? Off with their head. Right now. Off with their head. Anyhow, let's not get too excited. Yeah, the 5-ball bounced off like 12 balls and bounced into a pocket. So I was lucky because the spread is actually good. I like it. I like how the balls ended up, but really it was just pure luck. And luck is a part of 9-ball, but if you rely on it, you're a fool, and you know the drill. But anyway, you're supposed to be analyzing this rack when the rack is playing. And I'm just going to start creating shorts that nobody, cares about. And I'm going to wind up with a bunch of people with 30-second attention spans on my subscription list. And I don't want that. But if you guys don't start analyzing the racks with me and learning something, there's no point in doing all this because it's a whole lot more work than you might think, Scooby. Alright, I'm done lecturing you. I'm sorry. But, sometimes the teacher or the parent in me comes out. It just comes out. You have to do your part, guys. Okay? Alright. And if you do your part, we have some cookies at the end of this. Yep, cookies. I'm kidding. Relax, guys. Everybody chill. The last words my ex-wife said to me was, "John, you ain't funny." And she walked out the door, and it's the last I ever saw her. I think I'm funny. Man, shut up and get on with it. Let's look at this 1-ball. I love this 1-ball shot. Most pool players hate it. It's because I'm a draw junkie. And we're going to play a center table strategy on this rack. For most of these balls that you see in the layout that you see, I'm just trying to get the center table, and I know if I can do that, I'm out. And I have videos on the center table strategy, which completely uncomplicates everything and just makes everything simple. If you're ever in a position where you're not sure what to do with the cue ball, consider center table strategy, or just getting to the center table on the next shot. And about 7 times out of 10, it'll dawn on you that it's a great way to go. So you can't go wrong if you get to center table. That's not on every shot, of course, especially ones on the short. You have balls on the short route. You certainly don't want to be center table. But most, up to 70% of the shots on the pool table, you're going to want to get to center table. Personally, I just love to draw the ball because I just feel like I can control the speed and the direction of the ball better when I draw than anything else. Because when I was young, I would go to the pool hall and literally practice drawing the ball for 8 hours a day. I just thought it was the coolest shot, and I was immature, and I was like, "Hey, Fred, look what I can do," and that's what I did. And it all comes down to staying down on the shot and following through with the shot, and not dropping your elbow. Once you learn how to do those three things, you can draw the ball, and once you know how to draw the ball, you can get anywhere you want on the pool table. So on this wombo shot, not only do you have to draw it back to the left-hand side route, but you also have to bend the cue ball, and you have to put a lot of right-hand English on this cue ball, so you have the right rotation on the cue ball to bounce off that left route and get to center table. You'll see it when we play it again. Check it out. Alright, at this point, you should recognize that you don't want to play the 4A combination, right? You see that, right? Okay, well, so we have to play the 4 in the bottom left-hand corner, and it would be perfectly normal to think, well, let's play the 2 balls, 2 rails, and back on the 3, back on the line on the 3, and we'll get straight in on the top left-hand corner for the 3 ball and just draw back again and get right on the 4 ball. The 4 to the 6 gets a little complicated, but it's a whole lot easier than you might think. Just bear with me for a minute. So my first thought on the 2 ball is just to play the 2 rails and play the line on the 3 ball to get straight in and do just what we were just talking about. But then I really think, and instead of doing all that, and instead of worrying about banging into the 8 ball off the bottom rail, let's just avoid it and just draw it and bend the cue ball again, and you're right there, and you only have to go 1 rail back on the 3 ball. Does that sound good to you? Yeah, if you're having trouble with the draw shot, it doesn't sound good to you at all. But I'm telling you, if you go to this bottom rail, you're flirting with that 8 ball, and that could be disaster. So you can do it if you want, but I'm going to just avoid that whole scenario. And yeah, well, hey, it's not exactly what I wanted, but hey, I avoided the traffic. That's the important thing. I will drive 25 miles out of my way to avoid a 30-second traffic jam. Yeah, that's how much I don't like traffic. I never ever go into it unless it's just, necessary. And it's not necessary. That's what a GPS is for, get you around the traffic. Anyway, let's go ahead and shoot the 3, and you might be tempted to put a whole lot of top on this and go 2 rails and try to get back on the 4. I think that's crazy. I think you should pull out your draw shot and go to the right-hand side rail and take the long shot on the 4 ball, because the 6 almost can't be missed, and you absolutely have to have shape on the 7 as long as you get okay on the 6. And from the 7 to the 8, it's gravy. A child could do it. And from the 8 to the 9, because the 9 is going to get bumped even further down the table, we can play center table again on the cue ball. It's going to be great. Just bear with me. Yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest shot in the world on the 4 ball. This is a little bit of a tester, and I admit it. I could have done better. You saw where I screwed up. I didn't get right on the 3 ball. I came up a little bit short. So as long as you recognize that when you were watching the video, everything is good, and that's what you need to do. So we're going to shoot this 4, and now we can go down to the bottom rail, and we can avoid the 8. We have the right angle. All you have to do is just shoot this ball and let the weight of the cue ball do the work. And because you don't have to be perfect on the 6, and you'll see we get to the rail on the 6, and at this point, we're shooting the 6 in the side, the left-hand side pocket. And that's naturally going to hit the 9 ball, and it's naturally going to bounce the 9 ball a little bit further down the table, which is what we want, because if we get center table on the 9 ball, we're going to wind up with a tough shot if it doesn't go anywhere. So we want to bang it down table a little bit, and we want to force the cue ball with top spin to that left-hand side rail, and you don't want to bounce hard off the left-hand side rail. You need that angle on the 7 ball to again draw it to center table to play the 8 ball from center table and just be able to bounce the cue ball again off the bottom rail to get right on the 9. Now when we get up to the 9, before we shoot the 9, we're going to cut it again because I want to make something real clear to you. It's real easy to screw up this 9 ball, or from the 8 ball actually, to get right on the 9 ball. So we'll cut it at the 8 ball, and I really have to bring this home to you because it's really, really important and something that took me years to learn. For years, I consistently shot this ball wrong, and I didn't shoot it hard enough. I was a little bit gun shy. I was a little bit worried about going further back up table than I wanted to, and it cost me a lot. And I'd continually come up short on the 9 ball and wind up with a bank or a very, very difficult cut shot. You would rather hit this harder than you want and go further back up table than you were planning than to come up short. If we get the cue ball back to where it is right now as we're shooting the 8 ball, that's fine. It's a good shot. But if we come up a couple inches short, we're going to have a very, very difficult cut shot on the 9. And if we come up a couple inches shorter than that, then we're stuck with the bank. And the last thing you want when you're shooting a 9 ball is to have a difficult cut shot or a hard bank. You just don't want it. So you're better off shooting this a little bit hard. And I highly recommend setting this shot up and practicing it. It's a little bit deceiving, and you have to shoot it harder than you might first think. Peace, guys. Thank you for joining me. We're tuning out here. It's been a long day and a long night, too. And I'm tired. And that's it. I really do appreciate you guys. Peace.
Sugar don't got reason, but she keeps on falling for it. Sugar don't got reason, but best.